Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's your boy Crander Q, aka my real name. As you can see, I have my beautiful brother Matt with a beautiful beard here today. Also, check out our Facebook page at Friends of the Squared Circle, as well as our sponsors, Darren Corbin. Yes, your WrestlePalooza champion. And that being said, Superior Creations, where we get awesome custom tumblers made. Now that's Dante Martin and his beautiful brother Darius Martin. Some of the local boys out of First Wrestling. Give them a like and follow on social media. Matt, how you doing today?
Pretty good. A little sleepy, but other than that, good.
Good deal. The beard looks great as always. I'm glad to have you here. And you know why you're here, because you're the star. And this is Friends of the Squared Circle. So, Matt, let's just jump right into it. What got you into professional wrestling?
Well, I'd say when I was little, I turned on I think it was on YouTube or something. Maybe it was on TV. Uh Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan, and like when he
Okay,
lifted up Andre, that just got me. I was like, that's it. I'm in. That
that's
was the
perfect.
simplest thing, really, but
Yeah. Now, Andre, man, just a gem, eighth wonder of the world, larger than life.
Thunder
Man,
Giant.
just to be that big would be so cool, but also a pain in the butt.
I'm close to that, and it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, you definitely are tall. I mean, you're not a body guy like me. I mean, you got that, six pack, whatever. I got a keg. But so it was Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant that kind of sucked you in. Is there any early other memories that you can remember that you liked?
Besides getting banned for half my life because I did a wrestling move on the ice to somebody, not really.
Now, did you watch wrestling on the regular, or is it just something that you found sporadically? Or
I think if I didn't get banned, it probably would have been on the regular.
gotcha, getting banned. I know all about that for saying kick somebody's butt on Facebook. I can't believe that.
But
So,
of all things, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the life
you didn't
we
even
lead
say
on
the A
social
word.
media. So, as a kid, now not as an adult, but as a kid, were there any personalities besides Andre and Hulk that you remember vaguely?
Stone Cold,
Okay,
The Rock, uh, Undertaker, obviously.
okay.
I'd say for teen years, probably Ken Anderson, uh, Victoria, Cena, obviously. Everybody knows
Yep,
that one.
everybody knows Cena. Yep,
Uh, Ultimate Warrior was a little bit, not much,
gotcha.
repeats, but for
Now,
live ones, would probably be like DX was my favorite. That was my favorite.
now, you watched it on TV. Do you remember your first wrestling event that you went to?
Actually, I was just looking at that. It was the Heavy on Wrestling when they came over here, and Million Dollar Man was there.
Okay.
I think it
So,
was Resurgence or something.
okay, that's before we knew each other very very close. But I do remember you because we talked about it before when I did work at the big Walmart. I'd always see you in there buying action figures with your family, and now your family is just so good to me, Matt. But yeah,
It
so
feels going
Million
at
Dollar
home.
Man, how was that experience?
It was great, honestly. His line was so long, but like afterwards, I went after and talked to him, and he's like pulled out a chair and he's like, "Here, have a seat. Let's start talking." I'm like, "Okay."
Hmm,
So like an hour and a half, pretty much of BS, and I almost slipped one out.
that's all right. Yeah, I remember telling him that I was upset with him because when I was a kid, one of the first matches that I remember watching with Dusty Rhodes is that he stole the valet and they took off. And I just remember as a kid, that's one memory that stuck with me with wrestling, that I was so mad. And I just remember being so mad at Million Dollar Man, and I just hated him because he's out there, you know. Oh man, it just gives. I always say it gives me goosebumps. Like he made me. He's one of the first people that I actually despised in wrestling, and then after meeting him, it was like, oh man, this guy's a great dude. I got my
Yeah.
book signed. What did you get signed that day?
What did I get signed? I think I just had an 8x10 at that time, but now I have a pop vinyl and I think a figure too.
Okay. Now, what people don't know, but that I know because I've known Matt pretty good the last few years, is Matt is an extreme collector, which I'm jealous of. I I envy him now because he goes to almost every wrestling show like I used to back a couple of years ago. And Matt is pretty well known on the independent wrestling scene as the new sign guy. We'll get into that a little bit later here, but any other memories from that Million Dollar Man show that you can recall?
Mostly just being my first event, just having that adrenaline and the
Hmm.
goosebumps and yelling at them. I mean, I've way mellowed down now, but because otherwise I lose my voice. I mean, I'll still hold up the signs and mess with them, flip them the bird here and there if need be.
Not a
Just
kid.
look the camera. There you go.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, we got to shine. Us sign guys, we take it personally. We cheer our heroes, we boo the villains, or we boo people that we just don't like. Or as we talked with Abby, there's a tier. If you're wrestling another one of my favorite wrestlers, I have to boo you because you're lower on the tier.
Right.
Did you meet anybody else at that show?
I think the High Flyers were there, but I didn't get their autograph till recently.
Okay,
Al DeRusha, I believe, was there too. There's a whole
gotcha.
bunch of names there too. The Beer City Bruisers. I didn't even know who he was at first till I seen him come out. I'm like, oh, the keg. I'm like, I remember this. I was like, that should be my gimmick.
I think he used to go by like Dentine Moore or something. I think he'd come out with a can of soup or whatever that
Something
soup
like
was.
that.
I'm not quite sure. So
I like the keg a lot better than soup.
yeah, that's definitely a little bit more of what would you say, a better gimmick than just coming out eating some stew,
My buddy
so
used to watch. My buddy watched that soup one. He's like, dude, soup makes me poop. I don't like this guy.
soup makes that should be a t-shirt. So now as you're getting into wrestling, what do you look for anybody particular that is on the sign, the card, or do you just go to as many as possible? Me, I love going to see Darren and Eric. Everybody knows that in previous episodes. So
Good
I tend to
guys.
follow those guys a little bit more. What is it for you that you look at the poster and decide to go?
Well, first I look at like who's big names going to be there and stuff. If
Hmm.
nobody's there, then I look at the ones I know, like Paul Verk, the System.
Oh yeah, the system. We
Um,
like the system here.
he's a good guy too.
He is a good guy.
What's his name? What the heck are they? Ying Moa and Cardoba.
Okay.
So just look for those guys and stuff, or like other ones like Eric Cannon, Darren Corbin. The Possum and the Frog are my favorite now. I love those. I'm like, I love them.
Yeah, I think you'd really enjoy Chikara. We'll have to like pull up an old video of some of that stuff and have a little viewing party one time. You and I and some of the guys from 13 Cards, subject to change. Make sure to follow them on social media as well as sign up for their Patreon. See, Jesse, I'm just as good as you at getting a cheap plug. Yeah. So you're pretty well known, as I said, in the independent scene. You were frequent at MAW, and now you're ring crew. I hear.
Yep. I got into Ring Crew July 9th, actually, of this year. I kept asking many times, and yeah, we could use some help. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, are you sure you don't need help? We always need help. Come on. I'm like, well, now I'm in Ring Crew. And first day, I put a hole in the gym floor accidentally.
That's okay. Gyms are insured by many of the taxpayers out there. So,
True.
well, that's great, Matt. I envy you your run you've had the last 2 years. Obviously, we've talked why I haven't gone to so many, and now, as you know, I'm engaged. Yes, Randy, that's a shot. We're talking about Amy.
Well,
So my
congratulations on
yeah
that.
yeah, my budget has been shrunk to paying for a wedding now, which is perfectly fine. So what type of things do they have you do on the ring crew? I mean, I've never got to do that, so that's one you have up on me there.
Putting the ring up, setting it, taking it down. Once in a while, only one time so far, I had to be security for a no DQ thing. That was sucked. I'm like, can you guys stop running? I'm getting out of breath. But I mean, it was still fun. I'll do it again if need be. Pretty much
Yeah,
whatever they want me to do, pretty much.
that's great. So you work for MAW, that's out of the Minnesota area. If anybody hasn't heard, they're making big waves down there. 13 Cars and I are hoping to do something at the next coming shows with our podcast. And then you're going to be at that November show, correct?
I'm at most of them. I'm going to be at the
Okay.
Nerd Out one too.
Oh, Nerd No, that's right. Yep, that's coming up. So that's great. Um, that's pretty cool. I mean, do you have any other aspirations of getting into the wrestling business, or you just think you're going to stick around with the ring crew?
I do want to get in the ring, and if he's still there by the time I get in the ring, take
Mhm.
that title from Ying Mua. Or maybe beat Darren Corbin. You never know what could happen.
All right, let's calm down. We all know I love Darren Corbin, but he's our WrestlePalooza champion there.
I took a shot. I took a shot. I had to do it.
I remember the one show we were at together where I got my sign, something about Corbin is God, as I always say, and then you're holding up a bigger sign on the other side that says Corbin sucks. And I was like, I used to love you, Matt.
I remember that. We'd be over across a different room just yelling at each other.
Yeah. They got to start just putting us by each other. Like, we should just email the promotions and be like, look, we're a package deal. We're your sign guys. We're going to get you the best shots. We might
Exactly.
just have to make like a club, like the bearded sign guys or something.
I had a tag team name too. I forgot what it was. I think it was the Bearded Sign guys.
There we go. I think that'd be great. We should make some T-shirts, do a couple collabs on the future podcasts. Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
definitely down with that.
So with MAW right now, who's your top 3 guys?
Well, Paul Verk, the definite top one. He's a champ now. Let's go with faces and let's go with faces then heels. So the faces, Paul Verk,
Okay.
Nick Pride, who actually was funny, he used to be a ref, and I was like, I didn't expect it at one show, and he came out. I'm like, the ref's gonna wrestle, and I was like, okay.
Must have forgot how to count to 3. Okay.
Yep. Most of them don't, unfortunately.
We
That's
love
the one
booing
thing they could
refs.
teach. Anyway,
Yeah.
what was the third one for faces? I can't even think of a third one, but I think Joey Alpha, or not Joey Alpha, Joey Avalon would be another one.
Joey's
And then
great.
So Fresh, if you haven't heard of him, he's pretty cool.
Not yet. Nope.
Oh, he's funny. He comes out in a wig and just goofs around, tell this town is garbage. It's great. Great entertainment, really. And then probably Ying Mua and Cardoba and X, all those guys.
Nice.
A lot of top guys.
Yeah, there's they definitely have built the roster over there. It's great to see. I know we've been missing wrestling here in the Twin Ports. Hopefully Heavy on Wrestling makes a splash coming back, as well as maybe some newer promotions coming through. We know of another one. As I always say, I don't like to mention it because you know why, but you can say those initials if you want. They're part of the Twin Ports wrestling scene here, so.
I say COVID broke half of it around here.
Yep. So, but so I know you've done a wrestling seminar with Sin Body, right?
I did. That was really fun. I got to take a few bumps, and they hurt after a while, but like at first it didn't, but then the next day you're like, oh, why did I do that? I'm like, now I got to look forward to that with a match. Oof. I don't think
you ever thought about doing
Gage matches.
I cut you off there. Go ahead.
Well, that's all good. I don't think I'd be doing any of those Nick Gage matches though.
Oh no, I don't want to get hit with a light bulb either. But have you ever thought about doing like maybe manager or valet? I don't know what the difference is. I think valet is more for a lady, but
I've offered to do a manager for some of them, but it's up to MAW or whoever wants to put me on it. I mean, I'll be down. I won't take a bump if you don't want me to. I get it, personal reasons, don't want me hurt or whatever.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you do great. You do good heel shit, as I like to call it. So
exactly. I can pull their feet if I'm a heel or leave them alone if I'm a face.
There you go. You know exactly what's going on there. All right, so let's go off of MAW a little bit. We talked about some of your first wrestling events, and now I know you're an avid collector. What are the type of things that you collect?
Figures, books, programs, obviously shirts. Anything pretty much get my hands on. I mean, I've died down on figures because they went up to $25 a piece.
It's ridiculous. So. We were just talking about that on the last episode with Sebastian Taylor, how and even with Chad, how the market's just, it's crazy. I don't remember ever having to buy an action figure for $25 as a kid. Like, that's got to be.
Same. I think it was like 20 or 15 when I was a kid. Inflation.
Yeah, I've seen stickers on the old ones where they're like $3.99 for an action figure, and I'm thinking, man, we pay almost $60-$70 now because it's a collectible. It's ridiculous, and
then getting it signed brings it right up.
Not
that I sell any of them, but
yeah, that's the thing. Is the only thing I really trade is like some autographs that I get, or I'll get them for you or some buddies. We've done that a few times, or I just if there's some stuff that I'm done collecting. I just give it to you because I know you're actually going to love it more than I would probably. So
I still love half the stuff, all of it actually.
Yep. Well, if it's yours to do what you want with it. Like I said, you can sell it, you can trade it, get something better, do your thing, bro. So, how many wrestling T-shirts do you think you have?
Oh God. Um, I'm gonna go on a rough estimate. I'm probably exaggerating. I would say over 400.
That's amazing.
I'm
That
probably
is amazing.
exaggerating, but there's a lot.
Yeah.
It's actually taking over mom and dad's room, and they're like, "You need to clean your room out now." I'm like, "Well, I just got a new bed."
So yeah. Well, they can just get an apartment, pay for you to live there, and then you got the whole house to decorate.
Exactly.
Don't tell
Then
them
my
I said that
girlfriend
because
will
then
come
they'll
in,
come
babe.
back
We need
at
to get
me.
rid of some of this stuff. No, go away. Get rid of you. No.
Yeah, I don't want heat with your mom. So she likes me. She helps hold my signs.
Yeah.
I remember at that one show when we had the little Nate banner and we're all holding it, and she rolled it up for me, tucked it away till he came out for us. She was taking care of us, and then we all just stood there with the sign. He just looks down at us, breaks character. Yeah, that
I
was
love
probably my
that.
favorite sign moment with that big
I
banner. The
miss
little,
him. I only seen him once this year.
yep. Yeah, I told him that I'd like to get him on my silly little podcast here, and
Yeah.
he could talk about his music and stuff. So
I
we
hope he's
love
not
to
going to
hate
some
little
music. I
Nate,
hope he
that's for
still
sure. So,
wrestles.
what's that?
I hope he's not going to just music. I hope he still wrestles.
Yeah, me too, because I thought he was a heat-seeking missile for sure.
Right.
And I felt like when we started bringing in signs, that's when everybody else started bringing in signs, and I was like, copycats.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, like I said, we'll get into that sign stuff a little bit later. I know we keep mentioning it, but that's kind of what we are at the wrestling shows. Trying to think of the next question here. We're firing them off rapidly here. My brain's getting kind of fried because I keep thinking of other memories on top of the questions. But let's see here. Early wrestling, trying to fast forward. Let's see here. So MAW. Is there any other promotions that you like?
Um,
That should help me while I try to think of the other questions that I had for you here.
GLCW is great, but it's like way down in Milwaukee, so that's a pain in the butt to get there.
Oh yeah, we went to
Unfortunately,
that Gold Dust show that was like 6 hours away. Yep,
I even told him that I drove 6 hours. He goes, "You don't have to drive that far." I'm like, "But I wanted to."
exactly. I'm so proud of
Um,
myself for not stumbling over my words when I met him. I'm sure you heard the story when I first met him. I said I don't know like 8 times.
I didn't hear that story actually.
Yeah, so I got his autobiography signed, and I brought it up to him, and he's like, "Do you want an autograph?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm really nervous." And then he's like, "Well, did you read it?" "Yeah, I'm just really nervous." And I just kept repeating that, and he's like, "Do you want a picture?" "Yeah, I'm just really nervous." And then everybody's laughing at me because I'm fangirling out. And then when I met him this last time when you were there, I had my nephew with me, so it was like, well, someone has to do the talking here. So I had to like buckle it up, and I actually got a few words out for him. And I had told him the I'm nervous story. He's like, "Well, are you nervous now?" And then I got nervous. So,
He cursed
and,
it.
yep. And then I got the chair signed for Bob that day, and then my nephew got his chair signed, and I just got an updated picture with him because he had started using the red face paint and doing only half.
I
And I
think that
didn't
was
realize
right
he did
before
the half
AEW
paint
started.
back in the WWF days, but then he just started doing the full paint again. So,
I think that's before AEW started. Very shortly,
mhm.
then he started doing that half face paint.
Yeah. So he's definitely my all-time favorite. I'm a huge Rhodes family guy. When I met Cody there too, I was super nervous and I was getting another chair signed for Bob, and I was all like clammy and sweaty, but I was actually able to talk to him, whereas my friends were making fun of me behind me, but I got through it pretty well. So
Well, I mean, the Rhodes family's royalty, so
exactly there, I got Cody, or I got to get Cody yet, but I've got Dusty and Dustin tattooed on me. So now I just need something for Cody. Then I got them all. So
do the American Nightmare logo.
well, that's what my buddy told me to get it on my neck, and I was like, no,
Nope, nope, ow, ow, nope.
no.
I don't have any tattoos, but I can only imagine how that would feel.
hmm So, would you think 6 hours is the farthest you've drove for a wrestling show?
I think that might be until I go to different places, but
hmm
I think that actually might be the farthest I've driven.
Gotcha.
Not sure. Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, for wrestling show, I think we drove to Chicago, which was I think 8 hours total for me because I drove from Superior down to Eau Claire and then met my buddy, and then we drove the 5. So yeah, I want to say about 7 or 8 for Chicago. We went to the NXT War Games
Ooh.
pay-per-view down there. That's the weekend that I met Undertaker and stuff. So that was,
Still jealous about that.
yeah, that was a long, long day. And I used to be on top of that stuff. When anybody was making an appearance, I was like, they're going to be here, but
You're still the
since I
top
went through
guy
this,
that knows it.
what's that?
You're still the top guy that knows it.
Yeah, I don't really show it off too much anymore because I'm not part of a certain group, but you know, I just now on my page it's mostly strictly current and then more about the fan aspects and like the name says, friend of the squared circle, it's more about being a friend of the squared circle than what's going on in wrestling.
Right.
And my new little tagline is friends of the squared circle where you are the stars. So I'm sure that's copyright, but we'll figure that out if I ever get merchandise with that on it.
Well,
so.
if you get lawsuits, then
Yeah. Then I know I've made it. I think I got like one of those YouTube copyright infringements when I did the Uncle Clutch episode because there was some music playing in the background and I didn't catch it, but it
I've
is
had
what
some
it
of
is.
that happen. I'm like, screw off.
Yeah. You've had some big hits on your YouTube channel there, I've noticed the other day. You had one with like 14,000 views and
Yeah, the weird thing is the highest rated one is a Chris Stapleton CD unboxing. I'm like, what? I was like, I need to buy more Chris Stapleton stuff, apparently.
yeah, he owes you like a dinner and a movie or something.
Jeez, I think he owes me a couple hundred.
So back to the collecting then. What are some of your I guess I should have had you bring some today, but what are some of your obscure / favorite things that you have acquired over the years?
A signed baseball bat by Sting is one of my favorites.
Okay.
The 2x4 by Hacksaw Jim Duggan, that's cool.
Oh yeah, yep.
What else is there? Well, I got the Major Wrestling Podcast foam finger signed by all of them, including Swoggle.
Oh wow, okay.
So that's kind of cool.
I love Swoggle. I hate to cut you off right there because I got to get on a tangent about Swoggle. We've talked how many times we love that man. Oh, he is just a gem. I'm gonna go on a little tangent here. That dude does not get enough respect on his name for having to hide under that ring, for what he does for wrestling, and then let alone ACW Wisconsin there puts on a banger of a show every year. Yeah, Swoggle, much respect. If I ever get to listen or meet you again, I'm going to try to get you on this because, dude, you are money. You are great, and you deserve more in the wrestling world than what you've got. And
Agreed.
damn it, WWE, put him in the Hall of Fame. He deserves it.
Don't say that.
Let him go to these shows. Let him go to the Access signings because he is a big deal. That is not a joke. I love Swoggle. All right, back to your collecting there. Sorry. I love Swoggle.
Speaking of that, I have a Swoggle hat signed by Swoggle.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I think he gave it to me and they just signed it. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, I brought in the book. I don't know if you've read that one yet. I know you got a million like I do. I got to get back into it. But in the book, he talks about playing Tommy ball, where they take tennis balls and would throw them at Tommy's balls. So as a joke, I knew he was coming to the Heavy on Wrestling Halloween show. So I just bought some tennis balls, made a quick little edit, with a Tommy Dreamer South Park character and put Tommy balls on it and said, hey, I brought you this gift. He laughed so hard, and then he gave me a free autograph picture, another 8x10, and I was just like, dude, this guy's money. He enjoys what he does, and
exactly.
I really thought that was a funny chapter in his book about Tommy balls. So
great guy.
Mm-hmm.
So is Anderson, even though we give him a lot of crap.
I'm still afraid to talk to him. And I gave you that step ladder that I got signed by Swoggle, right?
Yep, it's in the garage. Yep. I'm trying to figure out where to put it.
Yeah, I think you should take that to other shows, and if anybody's done like ladder matches and stuff, just have them sign it.
I was trying to get all the little people that's done ladder matches, but I'm like, where's El Torito?
Yeah, definitely get Dante Martin if you see that kid. Get him to sign that because he flies off those things.
I love Dante Martin.
We do love Dante. And a cheap plug again, got this beautiful custom tumbler.
Beautiful.
By Superior Creations of Dante Martin, as well as his brother Darius, who I hope makes a comeback soon, because I would love to see those boys run the tag team for a little bit. But
Top flight,
first class, 612. Whoop, make sure I got that zip code right. But back to the collectibles. Is there any other cool collectibles that you have?
Not like something that's like really cool, honestly, off the top. I mean, I like them all, but I think that's pretty much all that really are like, well, these are my favorite ones.
Gotcha. Yeah, for me, it's my Mankind steel chair that I have signed. I think that's one of my favorite things that I got, as well as my NWO chair with Hall, Nash, R.I.P. Hall, X-Pac, and Bischoff at that Fortune Bania. Now, were you at that one?
I love that
Okay.
one. That's NWO sold me for that one.
Mm-hmm. It's so hard just to remember what shows you're on with me because like we're at them all, we chat, and we're both so busy. It's just like, okay, gotta go. I gotta get this stuff done,
Right.
So, and I believe that was the one with David Arquette. Was that the following year?
I think that might have been the second year, I think.
Okay. Gotcha.
I was surprised to see him come out and wrestle, to be honest.
What's that?
I was surprised to see him come out and wrestle. I thought he's just doing meet and greets.
Yeah, he wanted to come out and just kind of establish himself because that WCW run that he had. Just kind of wanted to put a little bit more respect on his name, and I respect him for coming out. He did awesome at Heavy on Wrestling, first wrestling against Colt Cabana. I love Colt. That's a great dude right there. CM Punk's a POS for calling out Colt.
I'm starting to dislike CM Punk. I like him in the ring, but outside the ring, like, what did Colt do right now?
Yeah, we won't get into it too much, but I don't know what it is about Punk. I just never really cared for him. I didn't like the character. And then listening to a few Colt's old podcasts, it just solidifies how arrogant he was. But so we have this new thing we're going to do here, Matt. I kind of talked to you about it off camera. These are all going to just be surprise pictures that I pulled off your social media. Now I want you to give me a 1 to 5 on the interaction with them here. So we're going to start with this beautiful gem. There he is.
Rest in peace on that. Was beautiful.
Yeah.
I would say that's definitely a 5.
Yeah, Mean Gene was definitely. I mean, just if you ever watch his outtakes on YouTube with him swearing at the guys and yelling at them to get their lines right, that is just pure gold.
It is.
Mean Gene is definitely our childhood. Interviewing all the classic wrestlers. And your rating again was a 5 out of 5. You said
definitely 5 out of 5.
Yeah, I didn't put my pictures up here because I brag enough. This is about everybody that comes on, so. That's why you won't see my photos with everybody as well. But yeah, 5 out of 5 for me as well. Now, this is one person that I haven't met, and you probably owe him monies.
That one. I love how you cut out the rest of the people. That's beautiful. That's definitely a 5. He is nice. Except he didn't use his voice like the Danhausen voice, but whatever. He still is very sweet.
Yeah.
He costed me a lot of monies. He owes me monies.
Did he put a curse on you?
He did. He cursed me. He had so much stuff, and I'm like, I want all of it.
And now I'm going to have some, curse on me because we're hanging out today. So, yeah, I wanted to cut the family out like I told you off camera because I want to, I don't have their permission, but, yeah.
Well, I appreciate cutting the stupid X out.
All right, on to the next one here. Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle.
It was definitely a 5, but it was also depressing that day because when he got up from that chair, he was like shaking because his knees were so bad.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my childhood now.
Yeah, he definitely, for me, is probably one of the top 5 wrestlers.
Oh, definitely.
And I say wrestler because a lot of the other guys had showboating, had everything else, but Kurt Angle could go in the ring. Him and Daniel Bryan would have been one of my dream matches.
That would have been cool.
I feel like that was one I wish I could have got.
Instead, we got Baron Corbin for his last match.
Yeah, and I can see him putting over Corbin for the reasons, but I like Corbin, but I totally agree. And we're not talking about Darren; we're talking about Baron.
We're talking
Darren's
about the non-good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Darren's
all right. Here comes the next one for you.
Oh, that was my first WWE one, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Fridley, when you told me about it, and I'm like, we got to go. I don't even know where the heck Fridley is, but we're going.
We'll put it in the GPS. So.
Definitely. That was definitely a 5. She was so sweet. I wish she hugged me, though, or something. Yeah. She even hugged me, actually.
Oh, nice.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. I tell people, she plays that B card so well, and she's just a genuine human. I got to talk to her for a few seconds down in Iowa. I embarrassed my buddy Brian because he was behind me, and he was one of the guys that gave me crap about Cody Rhodes the whole time. So I got to go first with Alexa, and I was just like, whatever, it's Alexa Bliss. It's not somebody that I'm super into. Now Now, if it would have been like Piper Nevin or, Ember Moon, I probably would have lost my composure. But I was cool as a cucumber, and I walk in and I'm like, hey, can you chat my buddy up? He's really nervous. And then when he came through the curtain, she's like, oh, are you the nervous guy? And he just got clammy, couldn't really talk to her, and he was so mad at me, but it was the best payback ever. So,
You know what they
all
say,
right.
payback's a B.
Yep. And then the last one here, a little fun fact. These are the chairs behind us that Bob and I made.
The Nasty Boys. I actually picked up one of the got a beer for one of them. I think it was Jerry.
Oh, okay.
But so that was definitely a 5. And that's when I almost ran into Hornswoggle. Like really, his head was right. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, guy.
Yeah.
It's okay, nobody sees me. He goes.
Yeah, I would give everybody that we saw here a 5. I haven't met Danhausen yet. I've seen him wrestle, but I have not met him. Nasty Boys, I would give a 4, maybe 3.5, because they took our chairs as backdrops and then told us they would give us a free autograph and 8x10s. And then when we went over there to get our chairs back, they wanted $40 for a photo and an autograph. And we're like, you just told us you were going to use our chairs as a backdrop and then give us a free autograph and picture. And then Sags just kind of like, well, whatever. And then they did what they said they were going to do. And I'm like,
I heard Sags is a D-bag, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't to me. Of course, it was quick. Like, hey, bye, how's it going? But,
yeah. Where
yeah.
Jerry, like I talked to them in Chicago when I got my picture with them the first time, and they were super cordial, but I was just like, hey, if you're going to say you're going to do something, back it up. I mean, I would have gladly paid had you said I had to pay, but then, that's why I'm only going to give them a 3 out of 5. So that's definitely a fun segment. I should bring that on for everybody. So
that makes sense.
So I know we showed a few wrestlers, but out of all the wrestlers that you've met, can you give me 2 that are probably the best interaction or your favorite that you got to meet, or just on a personal level, who you like the most that you finally got to meet?
Danhausen, number 1.
Okay.
RVD is probably the number 2 again.
Okay.
Actually, I was probably number 1 as well. So let's put both as number 1.
That works. Ties are great in wrestling.
Definitely.
Where'd you meet RVD?
First Wrestling Fan Fest just recently.
Oh, okay. July that's right. You 9th. Went to that. Okay.
No, September 9th, not July 9th. September 9th. That was pretty cool.
I totally forgot you went to that. How was that experience?
That was awesome. It was like the VIP thing. They said one of the workers, like, just hold your thing up. You get to go to the front of the line. I'm like, what thing are you speaking of? He's like, on your neck. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, just messing with him. I don't know if that was appropriate or not, but we'll make it flagged. Anyway, but I was like, okay. I was like, I don't want to wait. It worked. I'm like, whoa, it does work. Cool. Because this one guy was like just standing there. I'm like, you're the only one left. Why are you not moving? Yeah, VIP.
That's great.
It was my first VIP. Well, not really first, but like my first time using it. Like, I'm the VIP.
Yeah. How was that? You saw the turnbuckles. Now, those things were beautiful. I need to get one of those. Not necessarily that Mall of America one. Stumbling over my words, so I'm so excited. But I think we got to start getting turnbuckles, man, because those would be easy to hang. They're neat.
I didn't get that turnbuckle. That was like $400 for everything.
Yeah.
I got a Mark Henry one signed by him.
Mm-hmm. I've reached out to that guy a few times about trying to get some made, and he just doesn't respond. So I don't know. Oof. He's just not very active on his social media or what the case is, but that's something we should look into getting made, because I think, we do vendor tables for the podcast or, your projects.
Right.
Be a great little thing to have your logo on, and then people go around and get it signed, because they're going to put that on social media. So
exactly. Then get big.
Yeah. I'd have to say, for my top 3 of meeting, I got to put Trevor Murdoch up there. I've talked previous about him. Just super nice, was talking to us a lot. Kind of wanted to know about us as well. Luke Hawk, he definitely, every time I see that man, when he'd come through Heavy on Wrestling, he was just so great. I remember we were at the second Fortune Mania, and I saw him come in and I waved, and he like partially hugged me. I don't remember. I'm not a big hugger, but he's like, "Hey, Cal, how you doing? It's great to see you." Yada yada. I'm like, "Hey, man, I know you just got in. I don't want to interrupt. Just thanks for saying hi." So him and his son had went and ate, And then as I'm at the fountain soda thing, I'm just kind of hanging out, like trying not to, you know, interact or just kind of leave him alone. He comes over and he starts asking, because I was at that time I was losing weight before I hurt my hip and had all those issues. And he's like, "Hey, how's the weight loss going? That's good. That's great." You know, I was like, "Wow, you're actually seeing what I post on social media, which is great." You know,
Cool.
and anytime I comment on any of his stuff, he'll reply or like it, or respond with encouragement or thanks. So. And then lastly, who would I put in top 3? I'd have to put Dustin, just because it's my favorite. Probably wasn't the coolest interaction, but I have to put Dustin up there. So that's my top 3.
I'm still surprised Corbin hasn't got on the top 3.
Oh, Darren, like if we're talking indies, like Darren all day. I love Darren to death. I talk about the WrestlePalooza champion all the time, but I was just going off of the stars, I should say. So
Makes sense.
yeah. But if it came down to meeting Darren or somebody from WWE, I'd probably go hang out with Darren, just because, more on a sociable
If it's
level.
Alexa
So.
Bliss or Liv Morgan, I'm sorry, I love you, Darren. I'm going to hang out with those girls. Let's see what happens.
Well, if it was those two that you mentioned, I would probably go hang out with Darren. But again, if we got Viper Nevin, Ember Moon, I'd be like, "Sorry, Darren, I need a little space." So
Go away, bro code.
he'd understand. I'd still be part of his Patreon, which you can sign up for just $1. Cheap plug, Jesse. Come on, take some notes. Alrighty. So we have to show and you're gonna give me your what's going on here, and then you can give me your take. But this is one of Matt's. It's my proudest moment of you, Matt, and we've talked about that. But this is a gem of a video. And like I said, afterwards, you can kind of tell us what happened here, and you can all enjoy this beautiful video. We cut the sound because I don't want any copyright stuff. Here we go.
I thought he was going to slap me there.
Oh, that's a beautiful video. Right there was sign number 2.
And that's when he popped and almost jumped out of his seat for me.
Mm-hmm. This is my favorite part right here.
I didn't know what else to do. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yep. Yay.
And I remember that show. I was yelling across the arena at you, and I was like, "I'm so effing proud of you." Yeah, that is definitely one of my favorite wrestling memories, and as well as one of our friendship memories. Because, yeah, you have just taken over the world as the sign guys. So, what did your sign say? Do you remember?
I know one, Coda sits down to pee. I can't remember the other one, but I wound up having him sign it, I think, or took a picture with it.
That's the best part, is after they rip it up, you go right over and have them sign it. You thank them for doing their job, and, it makes them feel special there. Now, this is one of my
picture with it. I'm like, either that or I'm slandering you on Facebook because, political. And he's like, "Fine, get in here." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I thought." Just messing with them.
Yeah. It's definitely great to, talk with them after, because, we do it not because we're trying to be mean. We do it just to be part of the show, and we know what pushes some buttons. Now, this is one of my favorite moments right here, is my rivalry with Ken Anderson, aka Mr. Kennedy, where you almost kissed me.
I was going to say he's about to kiss you there.
Yeah.
And I remember all of these.
Mm-hmm.
God, when he had blonde hair.
Yeah. And the thing is like, he was so close to my face, and I knew he was going to do the flinch out. So I made sure to use my lazy eye special powers. That's for you, Justin Carter. And just completely looked at the ring behind him, and he did the little fake out thing, and I didn't even move. And then that last shot where he's laying on the barricade, I told him he owed me 50 cents for ripping up my sign. He told me to go F myself. So
I remember that.
Yeah. And then this is another video. It might have sound. I can't remember if I turned the sound off on this one, but again, this is what we do at ringside, is we heckle the wrestlers here. And this is the Boogeyman.
Go give him a big kiss. Shut up!
Yeah, the Boogeyman freaked me out that day. Yeah, that was one of my favorite videos of heckling a wrestler. So
I had a few of them, but I never got them on video, which I
Yeah.
need to start recording them.
yeah, now when you bring the missus in the next ones, just tell her like, okay, this is where I need you to film, and then obviously I know now when I see you to start filming because we're both going to get a reaction.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. So to tie it all in here, Matt, again, I can't appreciate you enough for being a friend of the Squared Circle. We
Anytime.
promote the podcast. Being a great friend as well to me personally, a beard brother for life. Is there
Absolutely.
anything you want to plug, anything you want to throw out for the people at home before we end this beautiful thing?
Well, I'd plug my podcast, but I don't know when I'm going to get off my butt and do it. So the most stupendous podcast ever, whenever I decide to get going on it, check it out. I don't put any links because I don't even remember half of them, to be honest. So
Same, but I find them.
there we go. That's pretty much all I got for it.
Perfect. And we're here to help you. 13 Cards is here to help you, as well as
Appreciate
all
that.
the other wrestling bros that we have. We want to see you succeed in this. I definitely want to help any way I can. We have tons of conversations off camera about what we're going to do and get you rolling, and then other things. But again, Matt, before I kick you out of here, thank you again for coming on. I know it's been a long time coming. I wanted you in one of the first few episodes, but you're so popular in the wrestling world. I couldn't be happier for you. And thank you, Matt, for being a friend of the Squared Circle. We're going to kick you out of here now. So love you, brother.
Love you too.
I know you're in the next room. That's a little spoiler for everybody at home, but all right.
Hello.
Now I'm going to do those final plugs, and then we'll get out of here for the day. Thanks,
Sounds
Matt.
good. Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode of Friends of the Squared Circle, where I'm your host, Crander Q, aka my real name. I'm messing up my own name. Again, check out Superior Creations on Facebook, as well as your WrestlePalooza champion, Darren Corbin, where you can get custom tumblers made from Superior Creations. It's a beautiful site. She does tons of custom work. It's your boy, Crander Q. Crander Q out.